Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek TV at Essen 2013. I'm sitting down with Konstantinos Kokinis. Hello, once again for the third and final game, there we go, from our Tipia Games. You guys have brought us Shadows Over the Empire, which I just wanted to give a shout out. The last game that we interviewed with was Archon.
Yes.
And I was so impressed with the artwork. Who is the artist who also did
Antonis Papandoniou. He's also done other games for us, like Drumroll, Briefcase, and the upcoming New Dawn. So yes, this is the same artist with Archon, and
I just wanted to kind of get his name out there because I'm just utterly astounded at the detail in every single one of these cards, and with Archon as well. All right, so Shadows Over the Empire.
Yes, Shadows Over the Empire takes place in the same city as Archon, actually. There is an empire of Asmidan, which has invaded the city of Cardis, and the city has fallen, so right now there's a struggle for power, and there are 4 different factions that try to take control.
Okay.
So 2 of these are from the fallen city of Cardis, and 2 are from the Empire of Asmidan. So let's begin. In front of us we have a 4-player setup. There's a different setup for 2 players and 3 players. We remove several cards and change the shape a little bit for fewer players. So each player has 18 faction tokens.
Yeah.
And our goal is to be the first player to place them on the board. This is not as easy as it sounds, though. Okay. So each player has a leader who he controls, and the rest of the cards are citizens and distinct personalities that we need to influence in order to get them to do our bidding. So the game, let's see how it works. First of all, we choose a starting player, and the starting player takes the first turn. We always have 2 actions to choose from. The first one is to influence another character, and the second is to perform a character's ability.
Okay.
Okay, of course we need to control that character first in order to be able to perform the ability. So when we start, we only control our leader, and we move on to expand to the rest of the board.
And the leader's denoted by the fact that they have a little gold border here instead of a silver border?
The citizens have a silver border, and the bronze border is for the distinct personality, which is placed in the center. Let's begin. So the first action I could do is influence another character, and in order to do so is what I do is first place an influence token to indicate that this character has already used this ability, and then place another influence token on a character that is getting influenced. What I do then is compare the traits that my leader and this character share. So we have on each card there are 4 traits. Each character could be lawful, each character could be religious, each character could be royal, or could be rich. Okay, so for example, this character has 3 traits. He's not lawful.
Oh, he's not.
He's all the rest, though. So what I would do is compare the traits I have with his and add that many of my faction tokens.
So you have 3 the same?
Yes, I would normally add 3. But also there's an indication here which says that this specific trait, for this leader, the trait of lawful, is actually a wild trait, which means that regardless if I share it with the influence card, I still get to add another faction token there. Okay, so after I do this character is influenced by me, and in future turns I will be able to use his abilities. Okay, so this is the way you expand throughout the board. Each character that takes this token on him, the influence token, is no longer able to influence, but they can still use their ability.
Okay. And is it okay to influence either orthogonally or diagonally?
You influence any adjacent character, and in this game, adjacent also means diagonally.
Okay.
Okay, so I am able to influence these.
Yeah, anything.
Okay, these will be revealed in future turns. So after influencing, next person goes around and we perform one action, then it's back to me. So what I can say is that I can either use either of these to perform the ability. In order to do so, what you do is you rotate this card 90 degrees and perform the action indicated, which allows you to further expand and influence more characters.
Okay.
So I will not explain this in detail. There are too many cards to explain, too many options. What I will say though is that there is an indication on each card right here, which quickly allows you to scan the board and see what is the ability what the ability evolves around. Okay, so for example, this symbol means that this character allows you to add more faction tokens on other characters. So okay, I will explain this one. It says, it's really simple. It says add 2 tokens on one of your character cards. So it means that I can add more tokens to a character that I already control. Okay, there are lots and lots of different abilities.
I'm guessing the one with the X means take away tokens
This removes
somehow.
tokens. This has to do with influence tokens that allow you to perhaps remove them, which would make this character be able to further influence another character. And
swapping places.
This allows you to swap places between characters. So if the ability has to do with adjacent cards, by moving him closer to the center, perhaps would give me a better opportunity to to control a larger area and more characters. So let me just say a few details about the leaders. Each leader always has the 4 traits, but there is a trait that is called the compulsory trait, is circled with a cog, and what's different on this is that in order to be able to influence another character, that character must always share this compulsory trait with me. So if, let's bring another character here, this one. This leader is unable to influence this character because they do not share the compulsory trait.
He will only talk to people who are rich.
Yes, there are always ways to influence this character in the future, but you can never influence him directly with your leader. I should explain at this point that whenever a character influences another character, so let's go to this situation. Let's say that we are further away in the game and I play with this character and I say, this character wants to influence the distinct personality, then I would do this, but I do not compare their traits. I always compare with my leader. Okay, so this is how the compulsory trait works. So even this guy here, it cannot be influenced by me. Okay, because it doesn't matter if I have another character that shares the trait, you always compare it with your leader. And you always add faction tokens based on the traits they share with the leader. Okay, so after the game progresses, more cards will be revealed. I should say at this point that a character that has used the influence action may still perform the ability by rotating, but the opposite cannot be done. If you've rotated your characters, you cannot further influence others. These, of course, the leaders are the exception. You can first perform their ability and then influence. There's no problem there. So let's see what would happen if more than one players add their tokens to the same character, which is very often happens in this game. When this happens, when this character is considered as being in a conflict, at that point, no player controls him. So what we do is...
Do they have to be tied?
No.
Or just
no,
any,
no. It
more than one color on a card?
It could be 4 and 1.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. This character is still in a conflict and cannot be used by either player. So at the end of each turn, each player must remove one of their tokens from each character in a conflict. So this gets slowly resolved but as long as there are more than one player's tokens on him, he's in a conflict.
Okay.
Cannot be used. Of course, as we said before, there are many characters that have abilities that remove tokens, so I don't have to wait for this to empty in order to gain again control. I can simply use an ability and remove it right away, and then even use this character right away. Okay, so you will see here an indication. This is the A-level deck. These are the simpler cards. There are many other cards. We have 2 more levels, which add complexity. There are rules there are options here that you can mix and match different levels and create even more variation.
How long do you think a game would take?
First couple of games are a bit harder to take a bit longer because you have to read too many abilities, but we've seen that after a couple of plays you easily relate to the illustrations, which are on these cards. They're very large, so you can see the whole table very easily. So you relate to the illustration, and then it's very easy to remember the ability. Also, the indicators here let you scan quickly and say, okay, I need someone who will remove tokens. You just check there and it's done. So that's basically it. There are many options.
How many does this play up to? How many players?
Up to 4 players, and there are many options. You can use different cards, have totally different results. It's a fast game. It takes about 30 minutes to play after you get used to it.
And you're shuffling out a random setup every time.
It's almost that. The only limitation is that you need to always have the adjacent cards of the leader need to share the compulsory traits. Otherwise, the game could lock. There would be no. If there were no compulsory traits,
right, you'd be stuck.
Yeah, you would get stuck.
Well,
So,
looks great. Oh, hang on, I got pieces stuck to my hand. Konstantinas, thank you so much for showing us Shadows over the Empire.